And we're live with Larry. Yes, this is the Sean Ongley podcast, not podcast. It's the not podcast hosted by Sean Ongley. Not a podcast hosted by Sean Ongley, featuring today my special guest, Larry. Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Larry. Yes.
There he is, Larry. Yes. Yes, he is.
I've got gold on my brush. Can you see the gold?
That's nice. He's going to be painting. It's live painting.
I'm going to watch paint dry while I talk to you.
Watch paint made and dried. Painting. Yeah. I guess you're not watching
I probably
paint
won't
made.
really. Yeah, you ever watch paint dry?
Sometimes. It's a Zen practice.
It's really exciting.
Oh, I should have muted.
I haven't seen you for at least like 3 years, 4 years.
Correct. And you were on my podcast back when it was called the Horizon at End Times podcast. When it was, through media. Before even I called it through media, I think. So, welcome back.
Yeah.
You've been.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No. Thank you for coming. To your back. Just go to. My words aren't working. Thank you for going into your own basement and tapping a link that brings you to my basement. We're in each other's basements right now.
This is actually my garage, but it's basically my basement. It's my upstairs basement.
It's your happy Raj.
Yeah. It's so happy in here.
It's funny. Yeah. It's funny that that's like an oxymoron. It's gay rage. A garage is a gay rage.
Totally, dude. I mean, dreams come true in garages. Or that's where I hide all your shit.
Right, but you got to rage. Like Microsoft was started in a garage, right? But what rage Microsoft has been.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm hoping to go. It's about as big as Microsoft.
I don't think your message is rage, though.
It's kind of raging, I mean, at this juncture, peace and love, that's heck of raging, isn't it?
Is peace...
My message is peace and love. That's my main message, I think.
I think when it comes to people who have taken that Beatles song and applied it in life in a real way, it's you.
All you need is love.
Yeah.
That song. Yeah. I mean,
no, Yellow Submarine.
Yellow. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's all. You're just riding around in a Yellow Submarine all the time, right? Your car is Yellow Submarine. Your house is a Yellow Submarine. No, just kidding. Yeah, all you need is love, and you express that. You've made that your art. And I don't remember exactly when you started doing that. I know it was before I left Portland because you did that salon at Through. When I left town, you put some love pieces up.
Right. Where was that?
That was in that Northwest. Like on 17th-ish and Gleason-ish. Okay. I rented from the restaurant Fish Sauce, their basement.
Right.
But there was an entryway.
I gave you some pieces. I don't think I got to go in there and see that, did I?
I think I recall you were not at the party.
Yeah, I think I had prior obligations. I don't even know how I possibly missed that.
Well, there's some pieces of it are still in the on the internet. Your pictures of that. I could even try to look that up right now if I felt like it. Share the screen.
What about hot pink? Do you ever get into hot pink?
Not personally.
Yeah, I mean it's a personal thing, but. I kind of think hot pink is my favorite color.
Really?
I love it.
Favorite?
It's my old favorite. I don't know. I've loved hot pink since I can ever remember. I've always loved hot pink.
Let's see here. What is I'm gonna share my screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Window, Chrome tab. I'm learning this stuff
Yeah, you're getting internet savvy.
all over again, right? Because I was so cool back in the old days of like MySpace and stuff like that. You see
You
that?
were
How's that look? You see that?
MySpace? I don't see that. I don't
You're
see.
still looking at me?
I'm still
Uh,
looking at you and me. I'm looking
Bingo.
at us. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
where are you in here?
Those are my little
Ah, you got
spaceships.
the spaceships. Jason
Oh
Traeger's
yeah,
in the
you know,
one.
I still have one of those spaceships right here. Still have this one.
Nice.
It's currently available.
Let me
It's not a price on it, but if anybody needs it, you can just let them know that this spaceship's right here, front and center.
front and center, baby. Still for sale. Do you have things
Did,
listed
did you hear
somewhere?
about my skate? Do you hear about my skateboard that I made or I
No.
designed a
Oh wait, I
skateboard?
think I saw it on Instagram. Did I see it on Instagram?
You must have, because I tell everybody about everything that I do. Any little tiny accomplishment I ever make, I put it on Instagram because I'm like, look, I did something.
Yeah.
Love me.
That's
Do
kind of
you
how
love
it
me?
works. That's what it's
You
all about.
know, I'm asking for love. Is what I'm doing.
Do you feel that you are inadequate and therefore need love?
Yes, absolutely. Of
uh,
course. Who doesn't? That's my question to you. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't?
yeah.
Who feels adequate?
Yeah. I mean, insecurity is a driving force as far as I've been able to discover myself deep down inside.
Yeah.
Insecurities running a lot of things. And
Yeah.
but the more I find love, the less I find that I am driven by fear or anything dark like that.
Totally.
And I don't know, how people get there, how to keep it up. For me, I think it's like to even describe what it is that signifies to me that proves that I've somehow broken through some kind of bitterness and love is more flowing. There's no proof of that. There's no like measurement. There's no metric. I have voltmeters for electricity. I don't have energy meters beyond very easily detectable energies, right?
Right.
So how do you detect it in your life? I think it's what's going on around you. How much peace do you have? How much conflict do you have? How are things going? Not necessarily measured by money, but also if you're flat broke and constantly broke, there might be some love lacking, possibly. So I'm asking you, how do you measure that? How do you know love is working for you?
How do you know that love is working for you? I think you don't really know, and and then you trust that you don't actually know, but you know, you just also trust. Maybe because you trust, you know, because you don't really know. I don't think we really know, like, because things knowledge is changing all the time. Do you know? Um,
All
maybe
things.
I'm waxing philosophical, but you
For
know,
sure, let's do that.
knowledge is constantly. I think like I like to just think that I trust that love is the answer, and I trust that I have a good sense of love in my life, and that um and really I want to put it out there, so I try to put it out there, and I see it come back. Do you know, I see people smile. Like the other day I was asked to play a show for this sweet family who had a baby, and they listened to my record. I don't know if you know that record, Love Vibes, but it's my record, Love Vibes.
I can play some of your music, by the way. I'm ready to do that. If it's on Tidal, if you got it streaming, I'm ready to do it.
Anyway, you can. That's great. But it was just this family listened to this album and they knew the whole album, and they asked me to come play, or one of the partners asked me to come play for the other partner, and it was so cool because they, they had that album Love Is the Reason. Do you know that song Love Is the Reason? Do you know that
Uh,
one? Maybe not, but I'll tell you about it. It's the first song on the vinyl version of Love Vibes for All the Creatures of the Universe, and it's about being on the precipice of becoming a dad. Like pretty much that whole album, I'm
yeah.
almost gonna be a dad. So
Ah.
that song is called Love Is the Reason, and it's all just, I want to hold you in my arms,
All right. Well, now I have to play it.
you have to play it. But it was really cool. I had the opportunity to go play for this beautiful family and surprise this other partner, and they started crying when I was like, oh, Larry's going to sing songs for you. And then I started crying. And it was just like, and then I was singing for like a 7-month-old baby
Yeah.
and a couple, a beautiful couple. And I was just like, how? So that was like if the long version of the answer is, I think something's working here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think,
Yeah.
I may not be getting the headlines, but
Love is the
you know,
reason.
love is the reason.
Here it is.
Tune into the lyrics.
I wanna hold you in my arms, to feel your safety, to feel your I want to know you and who you are, to hear your stories, to reach your stars.
Yeah, baby.
But the time right now is for the waiting, and we wait for you. Time to wait and swell with the goodness. And pray for
Did
your
that?
sake.
It's
Did
tough
they
to
have
get
the
that
lyrics?
centered. There you go.
What does that say?
Those are the lyrics, yes.
Okay, I was like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, love is the reason. Love is the reason.
I want to show you.
Now we could listen to the whole thing, but or not. I don't know.
Well,
It's a long
it'd be
tune.
great if I was making some kind of mystical, like a video. Do you know what I mean? Now, if I was like singing and I was dancing, and then I had some imagery,
Learn everything you know.
Yeah. Yeah. The stream is a little choppy for that kind of action, but it's kind of how it is with these live streams most of the time.
Now I'm painting the color. Right. I mean, the
Purple.
internet,
Yeah.
it's amazing that it even works, right? I mean, isn't it amazing that we can even talk to each other and see each other, like, and you're in another dimension, like over
It is.
there? You're in the future, I'm in the
would've-
past.
Totally. It's amazing. I would appreciate it if the mega corporations would invest a little more into communities so that they can have internet as fast as we have it in Philadelphia. But they need those super dense markets to make that super profit to make the investment. The way of the world, this world, the way we have it. You have frozen. It's funny that you just
Yeah, there's definitely something.
yeah, it's funny that you just were talking about isn't it great that it worked, and then you froze, and I don't know if you were talking or not.
I'm talking. Am I frozen? Can you hear me?
Not
Can you
anymore.
not hear me?
You're caught back up.
I'm back.
You're back. One that led me to think about a question I think about with love a little bit, and societal change. I talk to all kinds of people. I tend to like anybody who's actually what am I saying? I like anybody who cares about people and wants power in the hands of the people, that people should have freedom. People should be able to determine themselves and their lives. And those are anybody who feels that way, I agree with, left, right, center. We all have varying opinions. I'm finding myself more and more talking to people that are deemed liberty Twitter types, and
I've never heard this. What is this?
it's part of the grouping that sadly gets spun into this term alt-right, where it's people that actually want love and freedom for this world, who, because they don't just spew hate for Donald Trump and others, they are deemed, irredeemable by a number of people on the left. And what I find, both any sides that tend to hate the other side, I find a similar thing is a hang up with the material world. Like, the only way to make change in this world is to change systems, material systems, right? But I like to suppose, what if everybody woke up enlightened tomorrow with love in their heart? Would it matter if it's capitalist or socialist or communist or anything else? Wouldn't we just realize we're in this world together? And it wouldn't matter what the system is. We would just change and become. You dig what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're definitely in an us versus them paradigm that is totally hard to handle. It's hard to. People don't look or listen to each other. They just assume, or if you believe something, people won't even give you the time of day.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a hard time if someone basically is blatantly racist or hateful. It's really hard for me to want to listen to them. But I do think that being said, like, I think we should have roundtables with racists, liberals, and everybody in between, and people people who are completely hell-bent on one religion specifically, or one way of thinking, like. And if there was a way to have a mediator that could be like, let's just listen to each other, which it seems implausible, but I do think we are in a place where we can't just listen to a point of view that we disagree with. We just are like, oh, you said the wrong thing, it's over,
Yeah. Yeah, and I found myself lately in a different.
That's hard.
Yeah, I found myself in the last few years, especially leaving Portland, just a lot of illusions about how the world is and what the political angles that are best for people are. After leaving Portland, a lot of that changed because I just saw different sides of America, especially in Philadelphia, which is like a microcosm of the whole country, which is a whole conversation in itself. The city of brotherly love, by the way, is what. Did you know that it was called that? It's long.
What is it?
It's long been called the city of brotherly love.
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean,
Phila.
Phila.
Yeah.
Is short for brotherly love?
Well, let's see. Let me see here. Phila, I believe, is a definition. ancient Greek, beloved, right? Dear beloved. And Delphia, or Delphi might be actually the Portlandia, Philadelphia. Just kind of a classic Delphi of relating to love. Yep, that's right. Of relating to Delphi. So of relating to love. That's what Philadelphia is. It's relating to love, man. City of brotherly love. Now they say that the brotherly love part refers to the Masonic Brotherhood, which is definitely a big power center of how this city came to be. But I prefer not to focus on that part. Just focus on the brotherly love part, the love.
Because the Freemasons freak you out.
Yeah, I think it's, any kind of secret society, love is not a secret. To me, enlightenment is not a secret. The path is not a secret. I like to practice things that my spiritual practice, and I'd like to ask you about yours if you have one, how you would relate to it. When you use the word trust, I want to ask what faith means to you. But my belief system is very limited. I believe the word belief is the same word as hypothesis. It's just meant to be something that you kind of focus on until you kind of understand better. But you got to let them go. Your idea of what God is, what Jesus was, what Buddha was, I feel like they're very temporary, meant for you to connect to it, to the real energy of it, and then let go of that image. Now, I still relate to Buddha and Christ as real entities that have real teachings and wonderful power and love to offer. And some concept of God I have faith in. So I don't know how to describe that. I don't belong to churches. I don't like any power center that tries to take that love and harness it into their own little systems. So I don't belong to religions, but I do believe in those things.
Yeah.
And trying to discover what those things are. So how do you relate?
To spirituality
God and whatnot, yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm definitely not a Christian or a Buddhist, but I definitely feel like I've learned so much from Christians and Buddhists and totally insane people high on LSD, not to put all those people together, but we're all together. I believe there's truth everywhere you look, basically. And I do believe that we're all connected to a root source. And that's one reason why it's hard for me to totally subscribe to a certain religious reality, because I wasn't born into it. I wasn't raised into it. And so I just look at it from the outside, and I think that we're all basically, God. I think it's all God. Like every speck, every mineral, connecting us to the greater cosmos that's ever expanding. So I definitely, and that's puts us right back to the alt-right and the QAnon, and everybody on every single side is a little tiny piece of God. And it's pretty trippy, to come to terms with the fact that I don't necessarily believe things that other people believe, but I do believe that they're connected to the root source that is God, And I'm glad that religion exists, because it gives people comfort. I wish I was actually happily raised, a Buddhist or a Christian or something, but I just, I wasn't. I was raised to, I had to basically find out how to be myself on my own. You know what I mean? Like I had to build my own paradigm. And
what was your upbringing like? Were your parents like hippies? Were they non-religious? Were they?
I was raised by my mother primarily, and she was a blues singer.
Wow, far out. A known one,
Yeah.
or?
Huh?
A well-known, or?
She in Portland. She was. I'm actually I have some rocking picture. I'll show you a hilarious picture of her rocking that I really, really like. That I have right here.
Just getting the picture, ladies and gentlemen. Bam. Sweet.
That's my mom.
Nice.
And
Rad.
She was really spirited, and she was a rocker. And she was also wild as hell, and it was kind of a crazy left to your own devices upbringing. So
How many siblings?
just me.
Just you.
And my dad, was out of the picture by the time I was one, so he was never really in the picture. My dad had two other children who actually had three other children who I love but don't have big relationships with, but I totally think that they're kind of awesome. They're awesome. We're not in each other's paradigm, but so essentially I was an only child, raised by a wild blues singer. And
there you go.
In the 80s.
In the 80s in Portland.
Did I ever tell you that when I was 8 years old, it just brings me back to like my favorite story. Oh. Here's a really nice green that I'm working with. I played.
Is this the Sun Ra one?
Yeah, I told you.
I saw it, but please tell it.
It's my favorite thing, but yeah.
As he goes and does that, I'll say Sun Ra is connected to Philadelphia. Sun Ra is on Germantown, has a house on Germantown Avenue, and the orchestra still plays there. And I've been meaning to, for the longest time, just go walk up there, knock the door, and say, "Hey, can I help you? Is there anything I can do? I'm a handyman. I'm also a drummer."
Yeah, how far far away is the orchestra from your world?
I mean, I could walk there, right? It's a few miles.
Yeah, so it's very close.
Yeah, I've driven by it and not knowing it, and I keep meaning to, like, on purpose drive by it. Yeah, I want to actually. I read an article that like the house is falling apart, they're having issues, and I'm like, damn, I would be happy to help fix things. That's what I do for a living, and it'd make me happy to help them. It's because they were starting to get on. They were actually starting to pick up a lot of steam just before the pandemic. Like they were in Portland, had a big show in Portland.
Had like 3 big shows in Portland.
Yeah, it was like a whole like series. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like really a bummer because it seemed like they were coming back into their own, and it's tough, man. Anyway,
I know.
So you had this experience where you made contact with Sun Ra.
Yeah, but I don't cognitively remember it. But when I was 8 years old, I played Asteroids with Sun Ra.
Right. On one of those tabletop. You'd get those at like pizza joints and stuff.
Yeah, it was at a bar that my mom's boyfriend happened to work at. But I did tell you that in the last podcast. But it definitely is one of those things I'm like, wow, that must have informed me on some level, I hope. Good Lord, that Sun Ra. But I think he just wanted to win, and I just wanted to win at the end of the day, the game of Asteroids. I don't think he was...
Yeah.
I mean, I know that when I was 8 years old, so all I wanted to do was win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you listen to Sun Ra much?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I love Sun Ra. I love jazz. I listen to jazz like all the time. I used to not listen. I used to listen to like really like heady folk music, but now I just put on the KMHD, KMHD.
KMHD, still a very good station. Yeah,
very good. And it's just, we've got great DJs, and it's such a great variety. And actually, we have a great classical station. So I'm getting into this like jazz and classical like only while I make art, and it's just,
I was doing that. Yeah, I was on that program kind of for a while, like just tune on the radio, and it was kind of easy not to worry about. Unfortunately, in Philly, we have a split jazz and classical station, WRTI, and in the day it's classical, at night it's jazz, and it's like, are people really not trying to listen to classical at night when they want to relax? Yeah, it's like, or jazz during the day when they want to pep up. Like, I think you want 24/7 jazz, 24-hour classical. I don't understand how the market of Philadelphia can't support that.
That doesn't make any sense. Seems like it has at least 2 of each, especially Philadelphia, given the musicality of the town. Like,
we have an amazing history here. Yeah. Cultural history.
Do you know Carl Blau? Does Carl Blau live close to you?
That rings a bell, but no, I don't know.
He's a singer-songwriter. He lives in Philly. He's awesome.
Cool.
I love him.
I would like to go see him when I can.
Yeah, remember his name and find out about him.
Carl Blah. Well, definitely I'm getting back on the live music train. Speaking of train, we have Coltrane. I've been to the Coltrane house. They're still trying to get that open as a museum.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I mean, to me, like, how I guess I had an experience, like, just before I sent a message to you. I'm always thinking about who I want to live stream with. So you were on my mind, but then, like, I had this experience driving in my car, and the whole lead up to the story as to why I felt like my heart burst open and my ego dissolved, and I had this thought, like, I can't argue with people in my head anymore. There's nobody there to support the argument. There's no reason to fucking do it. And it's like just feeling like the only way is to just love your way through life. And otherwise, like, and it doesn't mean, it's kind of like that Flaming Lips song. Doesn't mean you can't fight sometimes. Doesn't mean you can't, like, doesn't mean you don't have things to defend and whatnot. But it's like, but at that very moment where I felt like my heart burst, my water pump in my truck literally burst. And and I felt the heat draw out of my truck. And I didn't know what was happening until I pulled over for coffee on my way to a job. And I found that it was steaming under the hood. And I went and I looked, and boom, the water pump, it looked like it was coming straight out of the water pump. And it later confirmed that. And flash forward, having gotten my ass to work and back, and I'm waiting for a tow truck to come. I get impatient because the service is terrible. And I realize, and I examine it and go, I can drive this truck home. I can drive this thing home. And I start driving it, and it's on the highway, and it's making it. It's got no coolant. The water pump is grinding against itself, but the belts are holding, and this motherfucker's driving like fine. It's a 1982 Ford F-150. They don't build them like that anymore. And I was just loving my truck. The other influences as to why it's like had that breakthrough is I don't really want to talk about it. It's pretty personal. But maybe you need an object to devote yourself to, or somebody to devote yourself to. Maybe this is what a family kind of does. When you love a woman, you love your kids, and it becomes, but you can hang on to your bitterness throughout life. You can be increasingly abusive over time if you don't let go. I think it's like the ego is the thing that holds on to the bitterness, and if you're not holding on to the ego, then it's easier to let it go and find love in your heart and let your heart flow freely. The challenge I find is keeping it that way.
Yeah, it's like every moment, man. You know, it's like, that's why you got to give yourself like a really simple reset situation, which I think is a breath. You know, like every time if like you're tripping out and you're like, you doubt or you're whatever, you're like, oh, I'm going down the wrong path. Just like take the deepest breath you've taken that day, you know, and let it out, and do that as many times as you can. Like breath, get back to the breath, you know, and then tell yourself why are you here? You know, you're here for a reason. You know, we're all here for a reason. But
it's a headspace that I find taking over. You know, the breath gets you out of your headspace.
Totally. And resets and realigns, and then you can be like, you know, chill out. You know, I don't know. Do you ever have road rage?
Not really. I just get like, I'll shout or get mad, but I don't consider that road rage. Road rage is really where you're really want to like chase somebody down or flip them off, scream at them, whatever. But in Philly, that's not safe. There's a bunch. Portland, you can be an asshole and nobody's going to challenge you in a physical way. I was a total douchebag a lot of the time that I lived in those 14 years there. There's a lot of like, I just have there's some deep, deep bitterness in me, and That's again very personal. Everybody has to discover that for themselves, where it is that they have that hate, where it comes from. But yeah, I mean, like in Portland, I feel like I was able to get away with being an asshole because of the sort of passive behavior of that town.
Right.
And that's regrettable, because in Philadelphia, if you really mess with the wrong, you don't know who's going to flip out on you, man. So I don't.
Unfortunately, nowadays, I feel like Portland kind of like has that kind of tendency. There's people here now. Like I had to learn to not get into road rage.
When was that?
I think probably when I first started having my son, realizing there was more at stake than just me. And
yeah.
And it doesn't help. So yeah, that's a good reset moment. I mean, cars are just maddening as it is,
A little bit, yeah.
They're awesome. I mean,
yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, you love your car. Did you get your car fixed?
Yeah, I fixed it. I always fix my own cars. Cost me in the end like $30. So, no, maybe 50 because I had to buy coolant. Now it runs better because the bearings are new, got a new pump, belts are running smoother, everything's better about it now. I love cars, I love vehicles. My family is both sides of it has a history in auto industry, from being truckers to auto workers in Detroit. It's hard for me not to love cars, but to hate driving I can understand that, and it gets very frustrating. There's a lot of maniacal drivers, and I think a lot of people are losing their respect in general. It's just, I don't know what's going on for sure, but people are just I'm just finding the social decorum that I kind of was raised on is thinning out. By the early 2000s, things were still very polite in this world, but I just feel like people are willing to just take what they need for themselves and disregard others very much more easily now.
And I think that goes right back to the us versus them mentality, and that's where we have a problem. That's why we should have as many political parties as people, really.
Yeah.
And
8 billion parties.
Yeah, exactly.
300 million at least here in this country.
Totally. Yeah,
I kind of think, like, one thing I like about Portland is there is no party designated to the mayor. When they run for mayor, they don't affiliate with a party, even though we know they're pretty much running Democrats against Democrats. I like that they don't, because you could have it kind of like takes a little attention off of that party affiliation. And
is that real? Is that true? There's no party affiliation talked about during the mayor race?
That's how I recall it. Yep.
Huh. I mean, I'd never tuned into that. I never even thought about that, but I kind of think that's more of like a senator vibe or something, or a governor vibe, right?
Well, no, I think that's very partisan. The senators and governors are very much running on their party's platform, but if you disregard the party as part of the ticket, then, and it's just an individual running for mayor, I like that. I would rather have nothing but independent, zero parties. Yeah, if you make it 300 million parties, might as well be zero parties. It's
exactly.
Just
people who are thinking about the greater good of humanity. But obviously that's not where we're at right now. We're not at the greater good of humanity. Politics are indeed a paid political announcement from Amazon.com or, the gas companies or whoever it is that has the gazillions of dollars.
Big pharma.
Yeah. It's
yes, it's gotten increasingly that way. And I've talked about it with others, with anarchists on this platform, about the idea that it's not really even a capitalism or socialism that we have. It's a form of a form of fascism, because the corporate power is tied so closely to the government power in the U.S. that our votes are virtually pointless in terms of we're basically electing a handful of individuals to then assign all the power to others. It just we control almost nothing in our communities, and because it's all top down, and a lot of what's determined at the top is determined by corporations. So I personally think and view that since World War II, we absorbed through Operation Paperclip, which is a well-documented and understood absorption of Nazis into our government. We actually have become like a Nazi-like world, a fascist kind of world. And it's not as bad, maybe, because it's not as obvious or something, but it's very dark. And I think when you do open your heart, and you're looking at life, and it's you're more sensitive to it. And that may be why it's so hard to open your heart. It's because actually now life is even more painful. It's more difficult to relate to others because people tend to be relating to the us versus them. You know, most of your friends are liberals and you probably don't disagree with them much, but you probably get irritated just going in circular conversations about liberal opinions if you ever get yourself into those conversations.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I live in a bubble of people who basically believe what I believe over and over again, which is kind of maddening a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is maddening because I'm not challenging my belief systems very often. You know, or we're just stretching the belief system, but for the most part, I do. Yeah, I mean, I don't actually probably talk to enough people that have way different belief systems than me.
Yeah. Which is something I'm intentionally trying to do here with this platform, you know. And,
right.
You know, it's something people say about Joe Rogan. I'm not trying to compare myself, but a lot of people are basically modeling themselves after him because he's like the new Larry King, or, you know, these kind of iconic interviewers.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry King normalized something that I exhibited today, which is like, I didn't review all your music and make sure you hadn't done podcasts or anything. I just kind of jumped in here, and that's what Larry King normalized. And that's kind of what people do now. They just talk, and then they learn about each other through the talk.
Right.
But yeah, Joe Rogan's example, somebody who is doing this across both sides of everything sort of show. And you don't get them all on at once, but if you do follow him, there's no way that you don't get all sides of a topic. And that's something that I admire. And I think it takes a lot of patience to go through life like that. If you have a show, it gives you a focus to go to you know, force you to talk to people. But if you're actually going through life like that and you don't have a reason to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just easier to corner yourself into your crowd.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
We picked up and lost a viewer as soon as I said Joe Rogan.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there was a viewer that came in and out.
Oh, you had a viewer.
Yeah.
One viewer?
One viewer.
That's good. Was it the ephemeral perennial? Is that who the viewer was?
Oh, that was earlier. I don't know who's looking at Twitter right now. Somebody might be looking at it on Twitter. But that this count is only for YouTube, which people aren't really sitting there watching YouTube. You know what I mean? People come back to watch the video later.
Yeah, I can't even imagine who watches YouTube. But this is one thing I have a hard time with, is this the internet, watching things on the internet. I think it's cool. I mean, that's why I'm like more interested in radio, because I guess, I don't know. Then you just hear. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like to do therapy when I'm talking to someone, just talking to them. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're looking at yourself. That's the funny thing about this whole paradigm, is here I am looking at myself. Of course, I'm like painting while I'm talking to you, but I'm now to the color red. Look at that. I've
Uh-huh.
almost painted this whole rainbow
Are
while I've
you able
talked to
to
you.
are you able to show it? There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little, it's a little rainbow. I'm doing a craft fair
How do you cut those pieces?
with I have a scroll saw,
Okay.
and I use birch plywood, and then I cut them, and then I build them back together. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
I started doing this, and now I can't seem to stop doing it.
So do you take a board or what is your original birch?
Yeah, just like
Birch?
this is painted, but this is what it would. This is what it looked like before it was the rainbow.
I
And
see.
they come in like 4 by 8 sheets of plywood.
That's psychedelic, man. You're just taking something that's flat and normal and making it psychedelic,
Yeah,
basically.
because
That's cool.
I'm psychedelic.
Yes, you are.
Uh, I'm
For
not
sure.
as psychedelic as I used to be. I used to be way more psychedelic.
Yeah,
Uh,
what is your experience level with heroic doses?
I mean, I was never heroic when it comes to doses, but I had some journeys and I learned some things.
Do
And
you care to be specific? Acid, mushrooms, ecstasies,
yeah, so I
ketamine?
never did the ecstasy, but I did I did the LSD and I did the mushrooms when I was younger, till about 23, I think. And then somebody told me it's all inside of you, and I was like, and I was actually on LSD at that moment, and I was like, you're so right. It was so apparent that all of that, this whole trip trying to get to, was already inside of me. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I learned that I learned the interconnected piece is where I learned that through mushrooms. Mushrooms, I think, are the way to go for sure at the end of the
I
day.
I like them.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, they're good.
I still take
They
them.
and they're everywhere. And they're healing. They even heal like did you watch that psychedelic mushroom documentary that was talking about mushrooms actually like cleaning up toxins and
Yeah.
refurbishing the earth? Like mushrooms are really our one of our strongest allies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even like a vegetable. They're kind of a life force. They're kind of a vegetable and a life force. So it's pretty I don't know.
Yeah, they're amazing. I loved picking mushrooms out in the Northwest, and I was only going after chanterelles and whatever I could pick along the way. I never really risked psychedelic mushrooms. They're not easy to find, and when you do, they can be easily mistaken for other things. And I'd rather
Totally.
grow
And
them.
you got to know your mushrooms if you're going to actually ingest your mushrooms that you find on, you know.
Yeah,
But people learn about mushrooms. You could learn.
one
I
of the
mean,
easiest things to go pick just to eat. Um, Along with you, if you find find some chanterelles, it's amazing. But if you go out there and you don't even find chanterelles and you come back with those coral mushrooms, you can get tons of those when you're out, and they're plentiful, and they're actually surprisingly tasty when you cook them with butter and everything the way you do mushrooms.
butter. Butter's key, isn't it?
Butter is key. Garlic always is good. But yeah. So okay. So you told me something else once about marijuana, and I've been waiting for this experience to come to me, and sometimes I feel like it's knocking at the door. Josh Sandler. Oh, hey there. It's Josh, my friend here in Philly. We were just talking about mushrooms, Josh.
I'm still here,
Um,
bozo.
um, yeah, that's what he says. I'm still here, bozo. Is that what he's? Anyway, so I was talking about mushrooms. I was talking about picking mushrooms. Where was I getting with it?
You said something about marijuana and how it
Oh
made.
yeah, you told me about marijuana and how you one day you smoked a lot back in the day, and then one day it just kind of like gave you a bad vibe and you stopped.
Hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, it made me feel like I was gonna die or have a heart attack or way too anxious or tripped out, and no matter what kind I took, it just was. It's over, you know. I do think maybe someday I'll have a renaissance if I think my body chemistry will change again, but I feel fine. I don't even care about being high whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care about drinking. I don't care about smoking reefer. I don't care about, obviously, the hard drugs. I feel like I'm already pretty high as it is, just life. Do you know? Like I said, that one guy told me it's all inside of you. I totally believe that. I believe, like, yeah, I'm as stony as I ever want to be. Do you know what I mean?
If I can tap that circuit that just sends like the same vibes that I get, and then all I got to do is let go of this oral, what do you call it? Oral fixation. I think
Are you
there's
fixated on the cigarettes?
no bong rips. I like bong rips.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally I roll a spliff or something, but I don't do the vaping. I think that's a much more of a fixation type thing, the vaping. But I still like smoking pot. And
Yeah.
and if anything, I'm smoking more than ever. The tolerance just keeps growing, and I'm like, I don't like it. It's expensive, and I need to cut back because it does make me foggier. So I am finding the will in myself because so much more time I spend at home than before. It's easy not to when you have to go to a job or something. But yeah, for me, it's been a problem, but it hasn't been a problem in the sense like it's giving me awful vibes. It's just a problem in the sense of like I don't like when I run out and don't like when I'm not on it. So if I could tap that circuit and just not worry about it, it'd be great. You can't say that's good for everybody. There is a reason we have medicine in this world, Some people need to be on certain chemicals just to balance themselves out. And I did find that early on, THC helped me become a better student and focus. So it's kind of like that curve of like, where is it helping me and where is it not? And abusing it is definitely something I don't want to do anymore if I do. But I do find in life, I enjoy getting a little fucked up. And it's something about my family too. I like getting fucked up. We a lot of us like getting fucked up. A lot of us have, alcohol problems. I don't. I never abused pain meds when they were given to me. But I enjoy fucking my brain up a little bit. I don't know why that is, man.
I mean, yeah, I wrote a song. It was like, get high, it's okay to get high sometimes. High, don't you want to roll some herb with your friends, alarm alert? You ever heard that one? It's a hit. It's my only hit.
Is it?
No, it's not a hit.
No,
but
didn't make college radio.
I used to just feel, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, weed, it's great. I love smelling it. I love to smell it. Like if there's someone smoking weed around me, I'm like, it's one of the most pleasant, wonderful smells. Now cigarettes, I just really don't like to smell cigarettes. And I used to smoke cigarettes a long, long time ago. But now when I smell cigarettes, I'm like, help! Like, I feel different, but when I smell weed, I'm like, weed. I think weed's great.
Yeah, that's a common thing I hear a lot. It's like, I don't smoke it, but I like when other people do it. I like the smell.
Yeah, I like stoned
something about
people.
that.
I remember watching movies stoned and being like, whoa,
Yeah, I remember missing time. I remember the first times watching movies and TV and just being like, I'll never recapture that. Or maybe I'd have to get off of it for a couple weeks and then come back and I might get it again. But you don't get that again like that. It's like any drug. You kind of you're always chasing that first time because it was so exciting, the newness, the freshness.
right.
I guess if sobriety could give me that freshness, that'd be awesome. Maybe it can.
I made this painting while we were talking.
It's
Not
done.
really, but
Oh, really? And the rainbow?
yeah, because you have to use the brush. No, I've been working on this this is actually what I work on while I always have weird pieces of paper around, and then you can just put the extra paint somewhere because I'm always basically doing solid colors, and then I have extra colors. I'm like, well,
you should
let's
call
see what
those.
happens.
You should call those the extra paintings. Extra paint.
Yeah.
Extra paintings.
I mean, it's abstract. I kind of like the abstract. you know. But did you see my love spinner?
Spin it.
Okay. And then I think it's almost time to go, right?
Yeah, I think we should leave with one of your tunes though. Oh, cool. Yeah. Love spinner. Love in all directions, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I should recover those live recordings that I'd put out under Through way back. How good they. I should listen to them again. It's been a while. So yeah, let's go back to more Larry Yes music. Do you have any other songs you kind of think would be cool to play?
What do you listen to on Spotify, or where do you listen to it?
Title, I got Love Is a Whole Lot of
Yeah.
Skeletons. Take Me to Your Spaceship.
There's great songs.
2001, man.
Huh?
2001, man. I kind of want to go back that
Yeah,
far.
what's on 2001?
Well, the Love Is album from back, you put it out in 2001, it says. Is that right?
Yeah, Love Is.
Be Who You Are. How about Be Who You Are? Should we end with Be Who You
play
Are?
that one.
All right, so
why not? I mean, people haven't heard that.
We'll do a lead out, and then I
Okay.
don't know, we'll play it. Well, I guess we did some digging into this love issue. I feel like there's all.
Did
it's
we
amazing.
get there?
Maybe.
Did you get the answers you were looking for?
I think we encouraged people to look into themselves for it, and that's the best we can do. I feel more calm now than I did an hour ago when I was getting ready for the podcast. So that's a good sign. Is there anything you got going on you want to talk about? You want to nudge people toward?
Just take a deep breath whenever you are confused. And then
I love this fucking. I'm sorry that your frozen image right now is out of control.
Good.
No, it's just like it was like the worst.
Take a screenshot of it. Can you take a screenshot?
Too late.
Of
it's over. I should have. Yeah, it's all right. Sorry. Yes. Well, okay. Yeah. Find Larry S on Instagram. Just Google him. I'll put some links down there at the bottom, or DuckDuckGo it if you don't like to Google things or whatever. Quant it.
Thanks for having. Nice to see your beautiful face, man.
Nice to see your beautiful face and your energy. And I probably never even congratulated you on being a dad, I think, because that happened, in 2018?
2014.
Oh, 14?
Yeah.
That's right. Did you have another kid?
Nope. Just had the one.
Sorry, buddy.
Well, he's 7. And,
no, I remember. I remember your kid now. It's been a while. See, this is what memory does. It's 2022, and I moved out of Portland in 2018. It's been 4 years at least since we've talked. Anyway, lot to get back into if we ever want to talk again, because we could talk more about music and other things, but let that be for the future to determine. I really appreciate you getting into the love vibe with me, and let's listen to Be Who You Are, and I'll say bye to you right now.
All right, baby. Peace and love.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here's the Be Who You Are. I'm just going to say that's probably the best place to start. If you want to find out who you are and love yourself, you can't do that without being yourself. You're going to have to let yourself be yourself so you can love yourself. And I found through loving myself, I was willing to accept love from others and make that connection. It's not easy. All right, let's just listen to this a little bit. Larry, don't go. Just stay there. I'll talk to you in a second. I think it's an instrumental. So anyway, I'm going to end the stream. Oh, there's the lyrics.
I'm gonna walk my talk. I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna give you all of my love, love, love. 'Cause I'm sick of the myth that we're all monkeys and we're just full of shit. Yes, I'm sick of the myth. And I know we're meant to be more.
Groovy. We are meant to be more. And with that, I thank you all for watching all the way to the end. With me and Larry, yes, go check out the notes to find the links. Do the searches, do your thing. Love yourself. Be happy. Peace.